Oh, what's up, guys? It's Ninja Turtle, and welcome back, I should say, because this is the second video of the day, and we're going to talk more about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but in a little bit of a different way. I try to do this on a weekly basis for Marvel Infinite, but this came up with EVO, and I thought it is related, so I'm going to talk about that, how it relates to Marvel Infinite. So if you don't know, a few days ago, the games that are announced, that have been announced for EVO 2017 are going to be playable there. They're going to be at the tournament. If you don't know what EVO is, it is the biggest fighting game tournament in all of the world. People literally come from all over the world, from the US, from Europe, from China, from Japan, from Korea, from Brazil, from Africa, you name it. They gather in Las Vegas, and the tournament itself is going to be held on July 14th through the 16th. I usually watch EVO quite a bit, and I'm big into fighting games, though I'm not the greatest fighting game competitor. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to a fighting game tournament tomorrow, Frosty Faustings here in Chicago, and I'm going just to spectate. I'm not going to compete because I can't do all of that stuff. But anyway, the full roster of games is here. We know exactly what we're getting. 9 games. Well, I should say there's 8 games that we know exactly what we're getting, and here they are. These are the 8 games that will be played and competed at EVO 2017, which are Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Super Smash Bros. Wii U, the Guilty Gear Revelator 2, King of Fighters, was it 14? Yes. Injustice 2, Blaze Blue, and Central Fiction, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then the last game is up to us as fans. So that is 8 games, like I said, and the 9th game that we as fans get to vote on. And what are those games that we get to vote on? They are Mortal Kombat XL, Ultimate Marvel 3, Skullgirls, Second Encore, Pokken Tournament, Killer Instinct, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, ARMS, Windjammers, and Nihog. I don't even know how to say that one, Nihog. So those are the games that if you wanted to vote for them, you can. But you don't just vote for them, you're actually going to be donating to be able to vote for that last game. Now, personally, I have conflicting interests with the games chosen, and of course, it's totally my opinion. I'm not trying to jump onto somebody's fan base or hate on some particular games, but it strikes me as odd of the games that were chosen. Of course, Street Fighter 5, like, that's a given. Everyone knows Street Fighter 5 is going to be there. As a matter of fact, the 2016 EVO tournament, the Street Fighter 5 top 8 was televised on ESPN2, and I did watch the broadcast on ESPN2 because that was the first time it's been broadcast to that large of an audience, and I want to support the fighting game community regardless of how everyone feels about that game, including myself. I do like Street Fighter 5 though. Tekken 7 is coming out in June, and Injustice, I believe, comes out in May. So those are 2 games that have not been released, but they are highly anticipated, and even Tekken 7 has been played for quite some time. They do have event builds of the game. I played it myself at a tournament, Wizard World Chicago, and yeah, it's an event build, and they'll probably continue to have an event build into the game's release, which again is in June. So I'm not worried about those games. And as a matter of fact, Guilty Gear Revelator, also legit game, pretty great. But my problem is the other games that are on this list. And this, again, I'm not trying to hate on the fighting game community or any of these individual games and its community, but I feel odd. It feels odd that, of course, we're talking about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and its predecessor here is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It is being left out and being left up to us as fans to get it in there. Now, I'm not sitting here making this video to say, hey, go vote for Marvel 3, but it is interesting that it is left out, despite the fact that it was just recently ported to PS4 and will be available on Xbox One and PC very soon. And it's odd that it's the odd man out, especially when a new game is coming out this year. For it's not going to be a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite at EVO is going to miss that, so that's why it's not here. But even then, we still have games that are newer that aren't even on this final roster of games, which includes Pokken Tournament, came out last year. Mortal Kombat XL came out 2015. And Killer Instinct came out 2013. Skullgirls came out, I don't know, but that's still a pretty recent game. Now, ARMS is a game that has not even really been out there yet. That's so limited, a few have even touched the game because it just got announced literally 2 weeks ago. And only a select amount of people have been able to play it. Now, the game itself is going to come out, I believe, in April, so it'll give people about 2 to 3 months to buy a Nintendo Switch, because it's a whole new console, and play the new game and practice it for EVO if it were to make it. But it strikes me as odd that it's even on this list, it being so soon, and it hasn't come out yet, and nobody has even played it yet. Windjammers also, even though I did play that at was that TwitchCon? No, or PlayStation Experience, excuse me, and it was legit fun, but that strikes me as odd that's on this list too, because it's not a fighting game. But I want to really concentrate on Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat XL, and Marvel 3. As far as Killer Instinct goes, I really love Killer Instinct. I am not, the best player at it. I've actually hardly had a chance to play it, but I love the game mechanics. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. And that game is still being updated. They just started putting out content a few weeks ago and releasing a brand new character. And they have more characters that are going to come out later on this year. Continuous support for this game that's been out since 2013 and is played at a very high level by many great players. I thought that would be a lock to make this list, but it's not. As far as Marvel vs. Capcom 3, again, we have an opportunity for synergy for Marvel. I would think that they would want to have it on this list, but maybe that's not something that they have control over. Regardless of that, Marvel 3 came out in 2011. It's very exciting to watch, and it would be going out with a bang, making way for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. And lastly, Mortal Kombat it's only 2 years old. It really is weird, and I think this is NetherRealm's own fault for this because of their own marketing and development strategy. If you follow any of that, Mortal Kombat 9 came out, and about 2 years later, the first Injustice game came out, and then 2 years later, Mortal Kombat X came out, and it's been about 2 years now, and Injustice 2 is coming out. But it's so weird because NetherRealm puts so much money into Mortal Kombat X. I believe it is the most expensive fighting game ever made. The cinematic story mode of Mortal Kombat X is fantastic. The gameplay is fantastic. They reworked the netcode for that game from the ground up, mid-life of the game, like a year after it was released, to breathe more life into the franchise. And here it is on the outside looking in. It's so weird to me. But Injustice is there. It is another NetherRealm game being recognized in EVO, so I don't feel too bad about it. It just strikes me as odd. So, if I had my own choice, I don't understand why Super Smash Bros. Melee is there. We have two games from the same, the same franchise, two games, Wii U and Melee. I completely understand that there's a huge Melee crowd. Heck, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to Frosty Faustings tomorrow. I'm going to see that crowd in person. I was there last year. There was a whole room of Smash Brothers only. Like, I remember that. But at the same time, all of these games, every single last one of them, are playable on current consoles: PS4, Xbox, and PC. And Wii U, if you want to consider that a current console. You can use a modern television, flat screen TV to play it. To play Super Smash Bros., you need a GameCube and you need a CRT TV. Those big, heavy TVs got to be hauled around just so people can play this super old game that hasn't had any updates, haven't had any support. It's just been community driven. And I think it's long overdue to be moved on. And that's just my personal opinion. Guys, if you are a Smash Brothers, in particular a Melee player, let me know why you think it should still be on the EVO card, or do you think it should be moved on and just concentrate on Wii U version? And I'm going to assume that eventually there's going to be a Nintendo Switch Smash Brothers coming soon. As far as Blaze Blue, personally, I don't have any interest in it. I don't even know how old this Blaze Blue game is. I believe it is very recently released. But if I had to pick my top 9 for EVO 2017, it would be Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, Smash Brothers, Wii U, Guilty Gear, King of Fighters, Injustice 2, Killer Instinct, and I would end it up with Ultimate Marvel 3 for a last hurrah, and then the last game could be voted in, and I would believe that Pokken or MKXL would make it in for a last hurrah for that game as well, because again, both of those games are very exciting to watch, especially Mortal Kombat XL. But that's just my personal feelings. Guys, if you are interested in donating, again, if you want your game to get in to be that last 9th game, I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can go directly to the page and donate to get that last game in. You're going to do that directly on this generosity page. And let me know in the comments again what's your top 9 games that you want to see at EVO 2017. Whatever, forget this roster that they picked, just tell me what it is that you want to see. And I will see you guys next week with more Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite videos and just more games in general. See you next time.